Hello, welcome once again. Now, this might be the video you've been waiting for, it might not. There are certainly plenty of other videos out there. If you haven't already, check out some of Exacto's videos about knife comparisons. He has a groovy little chart, adult humour, excellent chap. Anyway, this is my little comparison review thing. I'd say it's a versus. You've got an option, you've got a choice. You're in the shop and there's a Benchmade Griptillian, or you're online shopping, or there's a Spyderco Endura. Which one do you go for? They're similar prices. Benchmade in the UK at least retails at about £70, and this is a Benchmade Griptillian. And the Spyderco Endura retails for about £65, and I think in America they're roughly the same prices. Okay, so let's go through some of the differences, similarities, and hopefully I can then help you decide which one to pick, because it's a tough decision, because these are both very well made, respected knives. Okay, so we'll start off with the Benchmade Griptillian. Now the handle scales on this model are a Noril GTX, and I think that's the same kind of family as FRN, whereas the Spyderco Endura uses FRN. Okay, it's good handle material, it's lightweight, you can kind of forge the grip on these scales, because it's quite easy to do that. There we go, so they're the handle scales. I must say that the Benchmade scales, they do feel a little cheap. Like when you hold this knife and you're opening it and closing it, do you notice that? The little echo? I'll tell you why it feels cheap. Super Saiyan's keen eye and attention to detail has not gone unmissed on this knife. And you can see that there are steel liners in there, but they only go to about there on the knife handle. Okay, and the same on the other side. Therefore, when you do close the knife, it creates this hollow sound, because the steel doesn't, I'd say, absorb the sound. I mean, I'm not that much of an audiophile, but that's what I'm kind of getting at. The Noril is vibrating, and that's kind of what's making the noise. The kind of echoey sound. Whereas the Endura does have steel liners, and they do go a fair bit to the handles, and the echo isn't as much. Okay, but that's probably one of the reasons why it does feel quite cheap, plasticky. Okay, but don't overlook that whatsoever. Seriously. Okay, as you can see, I've got the blue one, the blue Endura, and the black Griptillian. Both of these companies have identified that these knives sell well, and have worked on that to produce many different colours. The Endura comes in blue, purple, bright orange, brown. It even comes in black. So, and there are other colours as well. And likewise with the Benchmade, I've seen yellow, orange, blue, white, pink, you name it. Okay, very good colour options that both of these companies offer. Okay, so grip-wise then, it is a Griptillian, so you'd expect it to be quite grippy. Otherwise, surely that's false advertising. Well, it is. There's plenty of jimping. I've said in my review, an explosion of jimping. You got jimping on the handle spine, on the thumb ramp, on the choil area, just here, and on the back of the handle scale as well. On the Endura, it's two places mainly, the thumb ramp and this back of the spine of the handle here as well. Okay, so that's just kind of the handle scales really. The lockup is on the Benchmade Griptillian. You have this axis lock, so you pull the bar down and it you know, releases the blade, lift it up, and it locks it in place. Very good lockup. And on the Endura, you've got a lock back. So, of course, you can deploy this slow. Yeah, you can deploy it fast as well. It's just, you know, it's on this tension spring, I suppose. So it's more, physics wise, it is slower to deploy. Okay, whereas this Benchmade, you can deploy it slow by all means, or you can pull the. I'm moving things out of the way. I don't want to hit things, but you pull the bar down and you can very quickly deploy that if that floats your boat. Okay, so that's the deployment and the locks. Which is better? Well, I'm not sure how long. This is just my opinion. I'm not sure how long the Axis lock will last. Yeah, I'm sure it's an incredible locking mechanism, very secure. But put it this way, I think it's the same case with all Benchmade knives. But Benchmade don't want you opening this up. They'd rather, if you have a problem with it, send it back to them. Whereas Spyderco, I've seen plenty of videos where people have taken Enduras apart, swapped blades out, swapped handles, and they still work. So just bear that in mind, okay, about if you like opening your knives up and working on them yourself, customizing them. I think Spyderco give you more options in that way, in that kind of area. Okay, so we've talked about locking the mechanisms, the jimping. Let's talk about the steel. Okay, now the steel on the Spyderco Endura, it is a VG10 super steel made in Seki City, Japan. Excellent steel. It's super sharp, and it stays sharp for a good couple of months, few months. Obviously, I've heard it before, mileage may vary, of course, but it's a very nice steel that holds its edge. The Rockwell hardness of VG10 actually is around 60 to 64. Okay, now the steel that the Benchmade Griptillian uses is 154 cm. Now the hardness of that steel is about, on their website, says about 58 to 61. So it is a little bit softer actually, but I've seen that some people find it easier to sharpen VG10 even though it is a harder steel. My experience, I haven't had problems with either of them sharpening. And don't get me wrong, 154 cm is still hard steel, and it will still hold its edge for a long time. So I just feel that VG10 is sharper, but again, it's just my opinion, okay? So steel wise, they're both very similar, but I just have to give it to the Endura there. Okay, ergonomics, very important. It's very strange really, because I actually do prefer the Benchmade Griptillian for the ergonomics. I don't know, there's just something about it. It just fits in my hand more comfortably. Whereas the Endura, yeah, it's comfortable, but I just can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's this area here that kind of gets in the way. And before you say anything, yeah, I know there's an area there, but it's less of an angle. So that probably might be the reason. And it's puffy, so it's more comfortable to hold on to, whereas this is just the thin handle scales. Okay, quickly talk about blade shapes. Okay, now blade shapes, I'd actually go as far as to say that the Benchmade is more useful blade shape, because with the Endura and likewise the Delica, which I'll talk about in another video I suppose, the blade shape, it gets to a point and then it just drops, okay, which it's useful, but the Benchmade, you've got this belly and it just fits the profile of the blade shape. They meet, if you see what I mean. Also, sharpening wise, you've got this little knock here, and that means, honestly, it is a lot easier to sharpen, because you can sharpen the whole of that edge, whereas the Endura, you're probably going to be hitting this buffer here. Okay, I mean, wow, the Endura sells a lot. I just wish that Spyderco in the next few years or something have a huge upgrade. Okay, but there's plenty of other things I didn't talk about, such as the pocket clips, 4-way, and only 2-way on the Benchmade. But overall, they're both excellent knives, well worth your money. Thanks for watching. Take care.